All right, guys, here we are. Welcome in. R.I.P. to John Patrick, the legend. John Patrick passed away yesterday. Um, I can say I could do shows and shows and shows about him, and we may do it. Actually, we may get together with a couple of guys who knew him pretty well, with Garrison, and I know Ken from Ken Knows Gambling was good friends with him for a long time. So sad news, but John was a fighter. John was apparently in a nursing home for over a year, and he was gambling to the last day. Man, he was gambling on baseball like last week. So that dude is something else. Learned for me almost everything from him. It's funny. I get my how do I say this right? I get my money management streaks or my money management thinking from John Patrick, and combination of him and my dad. If you listen to me enough, you'll know the things I preach, the session bankroll, the overall bankroll, the way that we divide our money up, the way that we up and pull, the way that we keep our profits coming in and grinding out wins. That's all John. The way that I play, the way that I hunt streaks, the way that I attack games when I'm ahead, or just my general mentality of lose a little, win a lot is my dad. So between the two of them, that's how I've kind of become me, which I think most people is true. So anyway, sad to see John go. Great dude, changed the world of gambling. I showed a picture there at the beginning of those of the books and the VHS tape. That VHS tape was gold, man. I used to sit in my parents' basement when I was 16, 17 years old and watch those VHS tapes on repeat. Just rewind, watch again, rewind, watch again. Good stuff, man. The guy will be missed. The world lost a good one. And he wasn't just a great gambler, he was a great guy. If you haven't heard his stories, I'll let Garrison retell the story, but he was in the military. He was in Korea, and he has a hell of a story to share. And I'll let his good friend Garrison share that story. It'll speak to the kind of man that John was, not just the gambler that he was, but the kind of guy that he was. And I think that's something we can all take away from. Anyway, let's put our John Patrick hats on today, and let's go keep working on skill and luck strategy. Was he at Craft? No, he was not there. He was on the phone for a little bit. He was pretty immobile the last year or so, but yeah, he was there in spirit for sure. We talked about him. Victor, bankroll, knowledge, money management, discipline, the big four, right? Theory, logic, trends, the little three, right? That was John's entire. He made 15 books, 30 videos, and 2 years worth of cable TV shows on that principle. Those principles, by the way, don't change. If you look at what I talk about every day with the bridge, with the exception of trends, as you know, that's what I talk about. That's where all this comes from, right? It's like the big four, little three from John, to me, is the bridge that I talk about every day. And I talk about it so much because I got the wrong thing going here. Hold on one second. I got to get back there. All right. I talk about the bridge every day because we know the casinos are the enemy, right? They will absolutely find ways to break you, to take your money. And again, John, proponent of that all those years ago, right? He knew that the power of little wins, many stacked little wins, was the secret, quote unquote, the secret to getting out of there without getting too scathed, right? That's the bridge stuff, right? It's your bankroll, right? It's your risk. It's your knowledge, intelligence, your discipline, your money management, your setting of goals. Those two together are your goals. Your emotional control. My bridge, John's big four and little three, very much the same, right? What it points to is this. It's all about you, right? Bankroll, knowledge, money management, discipline, theory, logic, trends. How many of those things are not in your control? Every one of those things is in your control, except for trends, obviously. It's the same thing. So I want to talk today through the lens of this, right? When we get into skill strategy. And skill strategy is actually interesting. I don't know that we've hit on it yet, but it's an interesting little strategy, right? This one is an aggressive come betting strategy, right? It's a pass line and a come bet, two bets, right? you've got the advantage over the 7 when you have 2 bets out there, which is kind of cool. Skill wants us to double the base bet after wins, so we get a little bit aggressive with wins. We use single odds. We don't go nuts with the odds, and we keep going. And that's the idea that Skill wants me to pursue. So I'm going to take this today, and I want to look at this through one of the lenses that we just talked about, which is this idea of bankroll, and how much bankroll do we need to make this kind of a thing work. So let me hit the table here and let me just demonstrate this again. Oh, I'm a little crooked, it looks like. Demonstrate it again. Here's the bank's money. I'll pay the player from this bank over here. I'll put it in the middle, so I don't get my rack messed up. But in general, the way this works, and I'll use the second greens over here. Okay, so we do a 1 unit bet on our pass line. We'll set some kind of a point, whatever the point's going to be. It could be an 8. We'll do a 1 2 unit come bet, right? Skill wants me to double the pass line bet. And I'm going to play it this way today again, just to kind of get through this. Double the pass line bet, let it go to a number. And then each bet, once they're both set, gets single odds. Now, the point of this is this. It's a 1 unit win all the time, okay? There's a 1 unit win on a 7 on the come out. There's a 1 unit win in the come if we get a PSO. If we're up in here, now we have the hammer. We have 5 ways to win the 8. We have 4 ways to win the 9. We have 6 ways to lose on the 7. The idea is single odds and single odds on the 2 bets. That's the idea. Okay. If one of them happens to win, we'll be in pretty good shape. Okay. If the 8 wins, of course, it's going to be a net of $55, right? 25 flat, 30 on the odds. That doesn't quite cover what you've got in action up in here. Okay. But it does give you kind of the run for the next bet, because in this situation, when the point gets hit, we take all these away. We take our odds back for just a second. That's a 2 unit bet, which means that goes to 1, 2, 3, 4 units. And you're left with a nickel off the original. So you're still out your original money, right? So even though you've gotten a win, you're upside down still. Now what you really need is the come out 7 to earn you this extra $50, or this number down here to come again. The problem I found with the strategy as I've played it so often is that, God forbid this one wins, right? Or this one up here wins, right? You're in I don't say big trouble, but you get into a weird spot where, what are you going to do if the 8 happens to win? So the 8 wins, right? And it's going to win, it'll win 20 flat, it'll win 60 on the odds, and it comes down, but that's 4. Now you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, and it double it up. 5, 6, 7, 8. There goes all your profits. There's your original bet plus all your profit. You're bringing back $10 to the rack, and you're actually still behind. You haven't brought anything back yet, because 100% of your wins are needed to get the next bet and its odds up. That's the problem with the strategy. It's too. He calls it the frugal explosion, but it's too expensive, right? What I'm going to try and do today is put some sort of a cap on this thing, and I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm going to play with $1,000. I'm going to play green level $1,000, and people say, "What are you doing, John? Why are you trying to play with so little money on such an aggressive strategy?" Well, I showed you yesterday my come ladder strategy, right? Which is a 7 unit bet, right? It's 1 and then 2 and then 4. And we never surpassed the 7 units in the come ladder, which is my favorite part about it. I know going in, I've got 4 or 5 cracks at this. I know what it's going to win when it wins, and it's fine. This one, I feel like on one shooter, you could burn the entire bankroll, even with getting a couple of wins and still not have any profit. So I want to find today what is the right amount of limit per shooter. And so what I'm thinking is something like this. I'm thinking we do something like maybe it's 250, right? We limit it to 4, 8, 10 total units in action. Okay. And maybe what we do is limit the odds or something as we're coming out. So let's just run it again. I'm just thinking out loud here, because I haven't really run this yet. with this mindset. But if we have a 1 unit bet and it goes to the 8, and we have a 2 unit come bet, okay, I'm going to put the other units that I have here. This is my bankroll for that shooter, and that goes to the 5. All right. And we do a unit back here, and we do our 2 units up here. We only have 4 units left, which means let's just run the scenarios. Okay. If this bet back here wins, on the point of 8, right? So this bet wins, it's going to win here. 30 and 25. And you have this bet up here. We'll take that down. Okay. Now, we have 1 comeback active. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's our original bet. Our original stake. We have $50 out here that's kind of stuck in space. And we have $5 technically in profit in the rack. That was our earn for that round. If I go back out here again at a double unit bet, we have to cap it there. I think you got to cap this bet, because if you catch another point, right, there's all your odds. There's all your odds here, and you're out. You get really one hit at it. And that's the whole strategy, right? If this is the one that wins now, this is going to win 25 and 75. We have to make an adjustment now, because I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm technically down a unit after a win, the way this works itself out, because I have all this money sitting out here. Okay. I think what you got to do is go oddsless on this one. I think you got to pull back and match the bet with the odds and have an even bet, take the tie on the 7, and or do this, have a lesser bet, but keep your original bankroll intact. One of those two things has to happen, where we don't rip through the entire bankroll, because we've had 2 wins and we're still basically even. The way this all works out, you have 2 units in profit with a 4 unit bet stuck out here. So we have to figure out a way to kind of cap the next bet. This cannot be an 8 unit bet. There's no way. If it goes to 8 units, look what happens to our bankroll. We got 8 units here. It comes up. You have no money for odds. If you cap yourself to 10 units per shooter. So I think what we want to do is find the best way to cap ourselves to 10. I think at the 4 unit level, you go to 4 and 4. I'm okay with 4 and 4 as the odds, as this is the chance you're taking. And if this one happens to win, you'll be in good shape in the rack. Let's just say that the 8 wins down here at the bottom. That's going to win 220. When this comes back to your rack, there's 4, 8, 10 units. That's your original money. Now you actually have profit, and we can make a decision. Maybe we restart now. With profit, might be bankroll reset time, and you go with a 1 unit bet down here. This is an independent play, and you restart the process from profit with 1 unit. Maybe that's the way to do it, because in this situation, you cannot pull these odds, go down here at 8 units, and burn everything you just won. I think that's part of the problem. This thing reinvests too much money. And that's when I've played it and I've lost. It's lost because of that reason. You keep reinvesting and you're never getting anywhere until you get a big 16 unit win. The other day we had one of those. It was great. We made a bunch of money, but it's like, man, that's not how this is supposed to work, right? So either we try and grind it out and keep a 10 unit cap on this whole thing, or you let it run and it's 1 full bankroll. The full thing's at risk. And maybe you get the 16 unit bet to win. But more than likely, I think we're going to want to be in the world where we're having those short runs and scoped loss. So I'd like to, with your permission, to try that today. I don't need your permission. It's my show, but you know what I mean. I'm going to do it that way today. Here we go. Let's reset the bank with their money. I'm going to reset us. And what I'm going to do here is this. I've got $250. I'm going to reset my rack. This is why lammers and money management are so important. There's 250. There's 250. There is, I'm missing a black chip. There's 250. So 250, 250, 250, 250. We'll take the reds out of here. I will take a quarter in reds if I have to make bets even if I need to. But that's how I'm going to do it. We'll take 4 runs at 250 per run. We're going to max it out at 250. And that's it. We'll take our $1,000. We'll do it 4 ways. All right, here we go. Let's put this. I'm going to take the off lammer and make it the CGTV logo today. Let's get our chips. And here we go. 1 unit, on the pass. We're going to do it at green level with $1,000 bankroll, 4 cracks with 250. That's going to be we're going to try and cap it and see if that helps us. It may limit our total potential, but it's going to keep us in the game for a known number of times. There's a 9 for the first point. Will come double. I'm going to move my session money or my player money up front. So you can see this is the player money. This is just change. Okay. 11 yo. That's great. We'll take that. Put it back in here. And again, we're looking for whenever I have more than 10 in the rack, we know that we're okay. 10 in the rack plus stuff out here means we're in good shape. All right, there's an 8. That's great. It goes to the 8. We'll take 1 for the odds. We'll take 2 for the odds and just kind of watch our money go. 9 or an 8. 4 ways to win, 5 ways to win, 6 ways to lose. We're in good shape. Just got to get it. We got a 9. That's fantastic. There's the point. Those odds should have been even, by the way. The odds should have been even. My bad. That's going to pay 25 flat. It's going to pay 45 on the odds. And here we go. This is the first time that we get to test our idea here. Okay. I'm going to pull these odds back. I'm going to pull the reds back. I'll put the 1 red back over here. Let's check the rack. Before we start anything, we have a flat bet up here on the 8. We have 5. We have 10. That's our starting bankroll. I've got 50, $60 in change, 60, 70 bucks in change. That's my profit right now. If we double this up, which we will, in action is about to be 4 units, 2 units in odds up here, and 4 units in odds for that one down there. So I'm putting this money aside to get ready for it. Assuming that we get a point set, we're going to be down to that 70 bucks in the rack. I'll show you what that means. Here we go. Again, money management is kind of the key. We're coming out. It's an 11, which couldn't have been any better. Look at that. We'll take that win. How about that? It's going to be a great shooter for us, right? A 7. Bang, bang. I'm going to put this back right now. There's 2, 4, 6, 8. There's our 10. That's our 250 right there. Look at that. We already made our money back. And we've got 50, 100, 50, 250 bucks in profit. That shooter right there, because of the come out sequence, we done. This one here goes away, by the way. Lost in the 7. This is it. This would be a go home signal. 250, 270. Bye-bye. So that round worked out perfectly without having to worry about the hitting limits. We never got to the limit. All right. Cool. I'm going to put that aside. I'll put that over here. That's a Monday morning win. We'll put that like around this pass line. There's day 1. Let me actually make those blacks so that we have plenty of greens to pay ourselves with. And there we go. 270 on day 1. Let's do another session. Pass line 1 unit. It's a 6. 2 units in the come. And again, I like to set it up. There's my potential odds for those 2 bets, and here's just some buffer money. We catch a midnight, which sucks. Now what skill says here, double it up again. So skill says when you lose in the come, you got to come with 4. Okay, you got to cover the one that you lost, the 2 that you lost, and you're still doubling that bet. So you double up right there. Not a good sequence. All I've got left is 3 units. And again, if you're playing the strategy skills way, you're probably dipping into your bankroll to make the bets right. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to go past my 250. Money management. I'm going to go to 2 1-unit bets, play them both with single odds, and try and work our way back if I can. That goes to the 8. They'll each get single odds. That's it. I'm burning into 250 and no more. We got kind of crushed there, right? With those come outs. Now we're going to stay here. We're not going to dip in. We're going to leave next 3 shooters alone. Let this guy make us money with the 6 and the 8. We got 2 great numbers, but not this time. All right, let's do it again. Next shooter, again, 250. 1 in the pass. It goes to the 4. We're going to do a 2-unit coming. So you say to your dealer, give me 2 coming, please, or $50 coming. They'll give you that and your change. And here we go. It's a 7. We lose the pass line, but we win in the come. Back to the rack we go. Same 250 is still in action, right? We have 100, 250, and a quarter in profit. We'll reset next shooter, but we're still in the same shooter size bankroll. 1 unit win. Bang, and it comes back to the rack. That's fantastic. Another unit win. Look at this. Bang and bang. Where's my 1, 3, 2, 4 people, right? All right, we got a point of 6. It's 2 units in the come. It's a 3 in the come, which means a 4 goes into the come. God, that's awful. I'll do a black chip. It goes to the 8. Now we have the 6 and the 8. And again, 1 unit in odds, 1 unit in odds. We'll put, that's actually a black chip. So there we go. Again, our 250, the full 250 is in action, but we're not going to dip into here to make the next, if we win one here, to make the next sequence right. That's the big thing. I'm not gonna dip in if I don't have to. We catch a 5 there, no big deal. We got the 8, which is great. Okay, that's gonna pay like this. The 8's gonna pay 100 gets 100 on the flat bet. The odds get 120, and we're solid. Okay, this comes down. And again, we look at our rack and see where we are. I paid that right? We had 1. Yeah, okay. So in our rack, here is 200. If I break this black down into greens, there's our 250. We're recovered on that shooter. I'm going to put it back here because we're still playing this shooter. Okay. And I've got 100, 220, and another green. So I've got basically 250 in profit here. Okay. Oh, I can't take the 6 down. Sorry, the 6 that has to stay there. The pass line bet stays. That was the original one, but I can pull the odds back. Okay, while I'm coming out, we have a decision to make. We have 250. We have $220. Is that enough to get out of here? If 250 makes 220, that's 100% profit. Guess what? We're done. I'm going to color that up. Get out of here like so. Now remember, we're down. Actually, we should keep playing because we're down. We're down to. I forgot we had lost that one shooter. So we got to recover ourselves. We're not actually ahead. We're down $5. So we got to keep playing. Let's let it run. And again, 1 will become 2. We'll keep the shooter going because we actually have to make another 250 to get ourselves out of it. We just keep the cycle happening here. Still on a point of 6. Coming out of here though to the 9. Single odds on the 9. We'll break the black into greens. Single odds on the 6. Give me a 6 or a 9. 7 out. This is what happens, right? All that goes. So we took what could have been a get even and turned into a loss. Now we're still down 1 full shooter as we go. Let's bring the next guy up. I'm going to put this over here. I'll get the reds on this side. And we're light on this shooter, but that's okay. I need some greens. Here we go. 1 out. It's an 8. Grinder of a day here. Grinder of a day. There's an 8. Let's do a 2-unit combat. It goes to the 9. And again, it's just single odds on the 9. Single odds on, that should be a pass line. Single odds on the, I'm still used to playing the don't, right? And there we go. We're set up. We have 4 units out of our 10. Catch a 4. There's the 9. Couldn't have been any better, right? We get paid 2 for the flat, 3 for the odds. We're going to pull these odds back while we're coming out. And because it was this one, you just got to come with 2. Nice and simple. If we look at the shooter as 100, 250 on this shooter, if I take these odds down here, are we recovered yet? That's the thing. Are we back to square in our bankroll? There's 250 and there's 175. We're not quite back. We need to get this one looking like 250 before we're feeling okay. So we're not there yet. Okay. Let's play it through. 2 units in the come. It goes to the 4, 1, and 1, and 1 unit. Let's get a repeat. There's an 8. Finally got the 8 back, right? 25 there. 30 there. bring the odds back, okay? And where are we on our rack? $200, 205 actually, 205, okay? We can't take that back. We're almost got the fourth shooter back. We almost got back to even. We got to come back out. We have 2 units here. Now, again, I don't think we should go higher than 4. We have enough money in our rack to go with a 4-unit come bet or 4-unit pass line bet, but we can't place all the odds, right? If I want to put odds here, I need 2 units. I can go 3 units on the pass line and 3 units in odds and use the money. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and limit, again, my exposure in here. We'll go 1 unit higher down the bottom and do it that way. We'll go 3 instead of 4. Gets us a little bit more of action. We can afford the odds with our initial bank. Let's see what happens here. We go to the 8. So we have the 8 and the 4. 4 gets single odds. 8 gets single odds. And let's just beat Big Red. Look at that. Who's your daddy? That's going to be a nice win. $75 on the flat. And the odds back here are going to pay 75. $90. We should now be pretty freaking close to even. 250. I make these look like blacks. There's our bankroll looking happy again. We have our original money back in the rack. We have our $1,000. We have in profit $50, $115. We can't take that bet down. We have $115 in profit, right? Is that enough to stop the session is the question. Is that enough to stop the session? That's your question. Is $100, after fighting back from 2 shooters down, is $100 enough to say, you know what? I'm going to let that 4 run and we're going to get the hell out of Dodge. Okay. There's actually more than this because remember we had 5 reds. So these reds here were actually bonus wins. We have 125, 140 in profit plus this guy here. Okay. What you could do is use the 40, keep the 100. Say, look, no matter what happens, we're having a $100 win today. Lock that shit up. $100 win, $40 sitting here. You can put the $40 as odds up here. You can do a $15 come bet and put the 25 in odds on it. Just a little bit of a reduction, get some extra, an extra number in action, but lock the 100. Let's do that. It goes to the 9. And we'll do our 25, $30 on the 9. All right. And we'll just let it run. Let the 4 and the 9 run out. The 9 wins 15 flat and 30 wins 45 on top. Okay. Which means in this exact session, there's 25, 50 in reds. I can literally go out there with a 2-unit come bet and 1 unit in odds. We'll just play it through. 6. And there we go. We have our 2 bets out there and we'll let them run. We'll let the 4 have no odds. And of course the 4 is the one that hits, but that's okay. Take that down. We'll take that down and I'll come out here with 3 units. The best I can do here, right, is this. I can do a 1 unit. Let's look at this. I can do 1 unit with single odds. I have 2 units with double odds, and I have 2 extra units sitting here. If I did 2, we can do 2 and 2. We'll do 2 units each. Aces. Sorry, goes away. Per skill, we'll double that up. We'll have no odds up here. That pays. That's great. I'm going to come back down to 2. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Can we get this bet out? It's a 7. We can't get the bet out. We'll lose here. We'll win here. Now we've got 1, 2, 50. Guess what? We'll take the 250 as our lock for that day. And again, look what I'm doing. I'm locking up some wins. Not touching this. I'm locking up the wins. I've got $100 to play with, which means I can do 2 bets at 1 each with 1 unit in odds each. All right. New shooter. Let's do that. Well, again, scoping. I'm not going to dip into here at all. All right. It's a 3. That blows. We'll go 2. It goes to the 8. We'll do 1 unit coming. They'll both be flats. We lose that. We win that. We have $50 more. And let's call it right there. So you crawl back, you make good decisions, and you lock it up a little bit. And I think if we didn't scope the wins, even though I took a bath on the 4, but I have an odds on it, even though I didn't level all the way up, right? By not leveling up, we saved the bankroll. We got lucky and got some wins in there. If I had to use the bankroll, they would have won more. But I think that keeping it scoped at 250 is the answer. Or 10 units is the answer. Within the 10 units, you got to separate your rack and look at what the hell you're doing and make a point of it. All right, here we go. Let's do it one more time. We'll take another. This is Monday, Tuesday. We'll do Wednesday. Here's our 250 for Wednesday. 25 on the pass. And again, just manage your rack in the back the best that we can. That's kind of the thing. There's a pass line. Now, you could, with 10 units, do this. Do a 1, 3, 2, 4 down here. You could actually be a little bit aggressive. We can look at that here. It limits the number of cracks you get. But if you're on a 1, 3, 2, 4, which sucks with a point of 10, right? You still go 2 units down here because that's actually your, actually you got to go 3. No, you got to go 4 because 4, you're out here for 2. You're out here. 2 of those are yours. So you got to double up what your action basically is. And here we go. That goes to the 8. Now what I'll do here is this. This goes to the 8. This one gets no odds because it's on a 1, 3, 2, 4. The odds will only go on the 8. Right? And again, you kind of use your intuition or your favorite ways to play is combined. If I go 1, 3, 2, 4, I'm not taking odds down here because my extra 1 unit that would have been odds is the power press. So here we are. We're all in on shooter on shot 1 here. Just as an example, we happen to catch the 8, which is great. That's going to pay 100 flat, 120 on the odds. We can come right back in and do the same thing again. There's a flat bet, and again, I've got 250 here, right? That's my shooter back, right? It's still in play, but at this moment, look what I've got. I got 150, 170 in profit locked. I can lock that up, and I probably will lock that up because here's my money back. Here's my 170. I'll take that as a daily paycheck, right? Let's let this pass line resolve itself. Okay, the point is 10. We're either going to win 75 or lose 75, but I'm going to be in good shape here. I can't take the bet down. We happen to roll a 10, right? Let's get it out. 100, 250 bucks. There's Wednesday. $50. So we can do this. We can do a $10 pass line with 25 in odds, $10 come with 25 in odds. We'll let those 2 bets, we'll play with the excess, but we locked up our day. Points 5. Let's get a $10 come bet. Again, we're not going to do the explosion here. It goes to the 8, and we'll just play a straight up molly on these 2 and let them happen. 6, midnight, 9, 7. Okay, didn't work out. But there it is. Original bankroll. We made it work for 3 days. And I don't know that this is the answer. I like doubling the bets up. I don't like dipping into here too much on 3rd, 4th, 5th hits. There's not enough money in here to get it done. I think if you play this in a smart way, by scoping it out like this, you can kind of tread through it and create chances to win later. All right, here we go. Let's do it one last shoot of the day. We go Monday through Thursday here. Let's go Monday through Thursday here and take a day off if we can. All right, coming out. We got a 10. Coming out with 2. So we'll say do our 2 units coming, please. I'll give you 2 and 2 change. And here we go. I like this part of it. I like the double up. I like that better than the single. 8, and again, single. The first pass is easy. Just got to get a win. We have an 8 and a 10, right? 6, mid or 11, 6 again, 4. Flip it over, Johnny. 6. Is that 4 6s? Good gravy. 5 6s. A yo. A 9. Come on. Another 6 6s. Holy crap. There's our 10. That's fantastic. We get paid 1, and 2 in the back, right? That's beautiful. The puck is going to be off. We'll take our odds down for the next come out. Now, again, look at the rack. We have 100, 250. That's our original money. Okay. We have 25 in profit. We have $50 at play. We can't take this down. Okay. What I can do, as you know, we can place our single odds here. We have enough money to go out there with a 4-unit bet and single odds on it and keep money. So we're going to continue the system, right? 4-unit pass line bet on the come out. It goes to the 8. So what happens is this pays like so. That just becomes the odds down there eventually. Now look at our rack. Okay, we have a point of 8. We have 100, 275. I know I can put odds back there. I had the 4 units, right? That's my odds bet for that one. If I come up here with 3 and 3, I can do a bet with odds in the come, but I can't dip into here. Now this is going to make my 7 not good. We'll lose a unit on the 7. Okay. The point of the strategy is never to lose on the 7 when you're coming out. But here we are in a spot where if I make it even, I can't do full odds. So that's the choice you got to make. Are you worried about the 7 right now, keeping it strong? If I do, I can't do full odds on the bet. If I come lower and make the 7 a $25 loser, then I can do full odds. That's the choice you have to make. Again, we're not dipping into this. We're scoping the thing to 10 units. The choice is going to be, where do you think you're going to make your money on this very next roll? Or do you want to keep yourself with better odds for the roll after that? Kind of up to you, I suppose, right? But let's get after it. We go to the 6 with 3 in it. We survive, right? So we'll get single odds here. We'll get single odds in the back. That's a black chip. 6 and 9. Let's make it happen. There's the 6. But the 6 has been rolling, right? That's great. 75 on the flat, and the odds pays 90. Now we have earned enough money to make it happen. Okay, we don't have our full bankroll yet. We have 1, 2. There's 250. Okay, if I pull the odds back, I've got 175, 190 in profit. So again, think about what you're going to do here on Thursday, right? Is 190 good enough to walk with, or do you want to take another crack at it? If you take another crack at it, you've got your unit. You can actually go even a little bit higher. I can go to 150 in the come and 150 in odds and still have 100 and change left in the rack, right? If you want to keep playing, that's the way that you do it. You take this over here, you put the 150 out here, and again, it's not a full press because we can't afford it. We don't have enough money in our rack to do a full press and play both players. But I have enough money to do one more run. Again, it's your choice, right? Take the 190 and get the hell out of there, or chase one more. Let's chase one more because it's a TV show and we can do that. But I think discretion being the better part of valor, I would take the $200 to get the hell out of here. But let's go. Let's see what happens. We got a 7. Couldn't have been any better. We lose this, but you're going to win 150 for 150. There's your 250. Bankrolls back to square. Come out 7 is a powerful bitch, isn't it? 100, 200, 300, and change. There's our 250 to lock it up. So Thursday you win 250. You still have some change left. And again, we can do 1 with 1 in odds. We can do a smaller bet with bigger odds. Let's do that. We'll start with the smaller pass line bet. We'll play with our excess. It goes to the 8. Quarter in the come. Bigger than that one, it goes to the 9. And we'll do single odds here and single odds here. Single odds here are a little better odds on the other one. We'll use up all the money. I owe myself $5. There we go. 3 craps. Nobody cares. It's a 7. It all goes bye-bye. And that's your week. That's a week's worth of work right there. Right? That's a week worth of work. So there we are. 7 out. We have our initial $1,000. We never got too deep into it because we limited each shooter to 250. We made some decisions along the way. So Skill, you were here. I know you got here a little bit late. we scoped it to 250 per shooter, and based on what we have in the rack, we may or may not double up. We may go up a little bit. We may be even. We're just going to look at how much we can do on the very next run, and that's how I'm doing it. So there it is. We made 250 4 times in a row. Again, we had some favorable dice rolls today, so don't let that be your guide. But even so, $1,000 at risk overall. Let's add it up. That's 4 greens. That's a black chip. We had 1,000 to start. We have 1,000 and $70. So doubled our money. If the next day, Friday, we lost the entire bankroll trying to chase this thing down, we'd still be up $70 for the week. It's enough to go buy dinner. Okay, that's the story right there. So little wins, little wins, little wins, little wins. Lock them up. Be smart. Get the hell out. That's the whole secret to gambling right there. Getting out when you're up. Don't be throwing that shit back in there. I probably should have not played that last shooter, but there you go. That's the skill and luck frugal explosion with a limit. So we've seen it now 3 ways. I showed you with the full on dig the bankroll into a hole way. Yesterday we did it with a 1 unit increase like this, right? Today we did it with a bankroll limit, trying to see can we sit in this world where you have a very limited amount of money to play with. Okay. Tomorrow I'll run it a slightly different way. Okay. We may do a little half press in here. We may do something different. We may keep the flats the same and jack the odds up. We may try different stuff with our levels here. So that's it, man. Let me go back to the questions and answers and just see if anybody's chatting it up, what y'all be talking about today, and we'll get on out. Let me go back to here. Me to the right. Okay. Good. Let's see. What kind of questions are there? Let me go to the screen that says questions. If you have a question, put a Q in front of it, of course. Skill says, I'm testing out on bubble crafts. Suggest everyone start out. Yeah, always start on bubble crafts. For sure. Anything you're trying, by the way, if you're going to try it for real, try it on bubble. Try and find a dollar bubble machine, right? When you're doing things like doubling bets or come laddering or any kind of a negative progression, you got to start on bubble to see how it feels and limit your losses to a couple $100 as you're kind of feeling the thing out. You got to really see how it feels. It's interesting. Well, I won't give him any credit. I was watching or any shout outs. So watching a guy play live yesterday on bubble, and same kind of thing, right? It's like you can't control the rolls. Nobody's a great bubble craps player. You just get good rolls, right? But if you've got $3,000 and you're trying to win $100, you can ladder on the bubble machine enough to get $100 win and check out, right? That's what you can do. You can make small wins with big bankroll. You can ladder things up. Here, we don't have big bankroll. We have small bankroll, but we used each slug as leverage. So, all right, let's get out of here. I don't really see any other comments in here. JR says 2 points opposed to 3 point is the default defensive setting along with momentary placed bets consists of fully optimized, right? I'm with you. I don't really love the 3-point molly. I think the 3-point molly has given me problems. 2 points with some place bets, that might be a pretty good way to do it. Matter of fact, this strategy here with a little 4 and 10 action might be kind of fun. Royce, this is true discipline. That's the way you do it, man. There's no other way to do this. Other than being very disciplined. If you go on tilt with a molly type strategy, you'll lose your bankroll. Going on tilt and a molly will crush you. All right, let's see. Dan says, or I can go with 350, right? I kept 250, play with 100. Again, I like to play with excess. Sometimes the excess is where the bigger profits come in. Sometimes it's just a fun ride. But if I know I've locked up my goal, you have permission to do that. All right. Parks Plumbing says Casino Income Academy. Who the hell's that? I've never heard of them, but I will look them up. You know me, I like to push scams out there if I can find them, right? So let me look them up and see who they are. Let's see. 40 craps, save money, go to a simulator. No need to try bubble craps. Yeah, the simulators though, they're pretty close to bubble. Like mine is really good. But still, with real money, here's the thing with real money, right? In a simulator, you get a chance to feel it out. With real money, you get a chance to say, would I do that? Because in a simulator, like I'm doing here, it's like, whatever, who cares? I put some money out there. On a computer simulation, again, you have this who cares component. At Bubble Crafts, with even $200 at risk, it's still, you're going, God, am I really going to do that? Am I doubling from 4 to 8? Even if it's dollars, am I going to double that from 4 to 8 with 8 units in odds? Am I that guy? And when you're playing it with real money, it makes you give that little pause and think about it. So I think if you have the money, you want to play it, test it on Bubble with real money, because that does give you the gulp factor. Like, am I going to really do this or not? You have to know that. And you can't tell that from simulations just show you how it works. But real casinos let you know if you would do it yourself. But good comment there. All right. Let's see. Waylon and I are really good friends. Actually, I wore my Waylon shirt. I actually designed Waylon's logo 4 years ago. Waylon and I are really good friends. I watch Waylon a lot. The thing with Waylon I don't like, and I've told him this before, is I'm not a ladder guy. I don't like to ladder because I don't have a ton of money. And I'm not going to sit at the Bubble Crafts machine and make $11. To me, laddering with dollars is not interesting. But I don't have the $5,000 bankrolls to play the way he plays with black chips. So I don't play that way. I understand what he does. I love him. I think he's a great orator. I think he's fun to watch. But for me, not my style. Right? I get it. I've taught his style as well. But for me, just not the ways that I like to play, because I'm not funded to play that way, and I don't want to do Bubble all the time. So that's just it. Yeah, the logo was fun. It was funny because Waylon used to email me. You guys may remember this or not. I'll tell you a little story here. This is going back probably 5 years, maybe 4 years, before Waylon had a channel. And I was doing the show every day, and I was doing rollouts and stuff. Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Crafts was every day, and Waylon would email us constantly. He would drive us crazy. He would, you got to play this. He was basically emailing us every strategy that he's got, right? And saying, tomorrow on your show, run this one out. And I would run it out, or Jeff would run it out, and we'd screw it up, right? Because he would explain it, but in an email, you can't really get the full thing. And we'd mess it up, and he'd write us back and say, you dumbass, you screwed it up. And back and forth we would go. And I had him on the show once as a guest, and finally we joked about it. I said, you know what, just do your own damn channel, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Because he was kind of getting mad at us. Like, hey, we can't get inside your head. Because he kept saying things like, well, when that happened, you should have done this. I'm like, well, you didn't say that in the email. Like, how do I know what you want me to do, right? And I said, just do your own channel. And so I jokingly made that logo that said, I win Waylon's way, the 4 and 10 all day. Because he was having me do this 4-10 ladder. And for a while there, we were doing what do you call it? The 4-10 ladder with also a no 4, no 10. Anyway, it was the running joke. And I made that logo for him kind of as a joke. And he went and did a channel, and the rest is history. He's become like one of the gurus of craps. I love the way he thinks. I don't love laddering, again, for me, but I love the way that he puts it all together and makes the different bets work together in a ladder. I think is very interesting. It's not for everybody, but I think the way that his brain processes the laddering and the loss and what you need to come back from multiple bets, which is hard to do, is really cool. So anyway, Waylon's the boss, man. I love that guy. Glad he's back, by the way. He took a few weeks off, but I'm glad he's back. What else? Today was more flexible, not stuck to strict protocol. And again, it wasn't like I was reading the tea leaves. I was more reading my rack. Today was more about rack management than strategy. I still played the strategy as true as I could, but with some rack management kind of built into it. So, all right. I have got to go. It's work time. It's 8:20. I'm actually late. So good show. I think it was fun today. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you Thursday for the final show of the week. In the meantime, if you're at the casinos, staying focused, follow the plan, observe conditions, controlling your emotions, staying in discipline, and understanding what you're doing. Stay in focus, and of course, keep it simple. All right. Have a great rest of your hump day. I'll see y'all tomorrow.